if you, as you can see here, it's like someone's simply asking why their friend got banned, and personally, it's like that shouldn't be a problem, because if their friend got banned for something really bad, you should know about what happened. And it's just, it's just one of those things where it's like, you should know why people are being banned if it's something that the server legit doesn't want to have happening. And basically getting no response or being told not to discuss it is, pretty bad.
Yeah, and it's also bad on the admins, because the admins shouldn't be abusing their powers like that. Malachi asked me, saying that Simba said he was asking about someone that's banned, and we don't avoid you not to associate with banned people. And it says, you have a bit of a habit of being banned from places, so certainly wouldn't want to lose you to FV. Only because there's... I'm gonna break windows in a minute. But only because the reason I got banned from other places it's on about is from drama happened like December, which I'm not going to go in detail on because it was kind of stupid drama and is unnecessary and nothing to do with Furry Valley anyway, so it doesn't really make any sense why he brought it up.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
It isn't to do with Furry Valley. And then they're saying, well, make sure a number stays low. Quote unquote, Malachi is also Simba's alt account, as one of the other members that's been banned, there was a staff member, told me that Malachi was, or is still, one of Simba's alt accounts. So it's essentially Simba's other account. And then it said, external operations are nothing to do with me, you're not an admin. Or an admin on my team, which... yeah, I might not be an admin on your team, but I know my ways around how to do admin properly and not go against Discord's term of service, which is what you're doing. The next one I think you sent me was, if I have a personal question, and that was, Malachi said, further mentioning illness affects communication. And then, as I said, I have autism and a black country accent, and pretty much after that, Malachi ended up being racist, because I'll have it linked in the description, but if you don't know what the black country is, it's a regional part of the UK that I'm part of.
Yeah.
Or do you have any opinions on it?
Pretty shitty because
Rapunzel or...
First of all, if someone is going to immediately assume, someone's race or whatever, in this day and age, it's kind of shitty because, you could be from one place, but, live elsewhere and not sound like the place you're actually from. Or you could sound like the place you're from and, it just, I don't know, it's just stupid. I feel like Malachi just was being, wanting to cause more drama than was necessary.
And it continued to still be racist. Then Malachi said his but from the USA, if it is If it has been redone so it's not Simba's alt account, then yeah, that's believable if it is a different person. But
yeah,
Malachi and Simba being kind of intertwined before when it comes to the drama.
Yeah, because if Malachi's from the U.S., obviously he wouldn't know about the whole thing with the black country in, you know, the UK. Just like I didn't know that was a thing until you mentioned it, and when you first mentioned it, I didn't think anything about it because I had an open mind of, oh, this could be something other than what it actually sounds like it is. So, you know, if Malachi's just, you know, trying to be, you know, all full of drama and everything and cause problems and is from the U.S., then obviously, you know, he's causing drama over something that is, you know, he shouldn't be causing drama over. And it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of highly suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much what it stands for, as it says in there, it stands for Industrial Revolution, and what it means is the black part of the flag is to do with the furnaces and coal, and then the red is for fire and ambers are the glow of the coal fires and stuff, and then the white bit is for glass making, and the chain that goes across is common of chain mail and chains that was made in the area at the time. So, even though it kind of looks like it's to do with slaves, it isn't. It's more to do with pretty much the industrial heritage was brought up in this area.
And as far as I can remember from my history classes in school, there was no flag that represented slavery and slave trade. So why would there all of a sudden be something nowadays?
Yeah. And I'm still explaining it here, and yeah, that's the same with the flag, and again, as you can see, it's still being racist. Like, it's thinking of a chain saying it's to do with slaves and that, which it isn't. Because not many know it, but the problem we've had with the black country flag in the past is exactly the same thing that Malachi is doing, thinking it's offensive and racist. There's the actual PM of where I live thought it was offensive and racist. So yeah, the actual person that runs where I live thought it was a bad flag. So we've kind of had the same problem before in the past.
Yeah, that, I don't know, it doesn't look like a flag that would represent slavery at all, because chains are used for all kinds of things, and just to immediately assume that's what that means is like saying, oh, the minute you see a particular country's flag, you're conditioned to immediately think all people from that country, all people of of the ethnic origin that mostly makes up said country, are all bad people. And so, you know, or to think that that flag represents a very horrible thing when everything's being taken out of context. So
yeah, basically it's the regional flag of the area, and then, as I said again, was explaining him with what it is, and then Malachi said, don't get yourself banned for something stupid because a banned person told you to get involved with them. Ironically, I was actually friends with Rapunzel before Malachi said that. Simba likes you a lot. Disappointed if you know that, which Well, no shit, he likes you a lot, because if you don't know, Simba has a past of grooming people and being a pedo. So it's pretty obvious why he likes you a lot. He's had that past before.
Yeah.
Which isn't a good thing, because no one likes a pedo in
especially
a fandom.
when
it's like, it's gotta be the sickest thing you can do to someone.
When you're in a fandom that already has so many misconceptions behind it, that it's like, to actually have someone that actually fits those misconceptions makes things even worse. Because when people find out that an individual, say in this case someone in the furry fandom, is a pedo or something else that is considered a misconception of the community as a whole, it could lead to, now everyone's like, oh, that person confirmed that this fandom is about being pedos or molesting children or whatever it could be about, and in reality it's not. So it does make it look really bad for everyone else.
I mean, yeah, saying pedo can be a common thing around in a fandom, but I'll have it linked in the description as well, the logs that he's had in the past with that kind of stuff. Because you can easily find that kind of stuff. And as I found out, you can easily find his police record as well. So it's not a fake thing with the pedo bit. And then after that, because the staff were being arseholes, pretty much talked about them because they wouldn't give me a clear answer. Which everyone else would do that.
Go ahead.
Because the staff won't. Because pretty much the staff don't like to be exposed.
Yeah, I had the same issue with Malachi not being straight, and then when you explain yourself, it doesn't get you anywhere. When you're asked a question about relating to maybe why you were banned or whatever, it's like, why are you not giving me a straight answer? Why are you not letting me explain myself and then accepting my explanation and taking several days to get back to me, yet going behind my back and talking about me to someone else?
Yeah, and the only reason Malachi found out about it is the staff the staff do stalk people. So pretty much if you talk anything bad about the staff or try and get an answer out of them, they'll basically ban you, because the staff do not like to be talked about about it, and when you talk out about it, the staff basically stalk you, which is wrong.
Yeah, they
should not be stalking you.
That could lead to some pretty bad things, and for some individuals expose really bad, things that person has done that shouldn't be brought back up. Things that person may be trying to, put in the past and move forward and live a better life. And now all this shit's being brought up that leads to a whole world of other issues. And, it's not right to be stalking people for absolutely no reason.
And then what's funny is it says a ban's the end of the month, but talk anymore, and then pretty much he was forcing me, saying not to talk to anyone else, and But as I was talking to one of my friends I recently met on the valley before I got banned. Basically, Malachi forced that person to turn on me, to block me, and then extend the ban over to Christmas, which is unreasonable, and you can't do that.
Yeah, that's kind of shady. It's like you have the issues of, you get banned, and it should either be, oh, we're banning you for a month because you did this or whatever, or we're banning you completely because you've completely broken the rules of the group, or this thing or that thing. But it should be, if they're going to do any bans, it should be within the terms of service for Discord, because that's what is inevitably telling everyone what they're allowed to do when running these different groups.
Yeah, pretty much they hold your friends hostage when you get banned. And they run the server like a cult, so pretty much you could say put a gun to their head to force them to ban you and force them to block you. Which is wrong of them doing, because the whole point of Discord is having fun and finding friends, usually. And then it said permanently banned because part of an anti-fur valley group, which of course I'm going to be part of an anti-furry valley, because seeing that you're treating me like shit and no one's talking to me, and may as well turn onto them. And then they just perma-ban you for going on any anti-valley. Because back again they basically stalk you.
I feel like it shouldn't be an issue for you to seek out what other people's opinions are. To say, hey, I've had issues with these people, in this case, the people in Furry Valley, and you find people who appear to have had other issues, and you want to see if your particular problem is as bad as you think it is. And so you may just be wanting to ask a couple questions to people who are, in this case, against Furry Valley, and just for wanting to ask ask a couple questions and ask about other people's opinions on a situation you're dealing with, you're all of a sudden found out that you're in this anti-Furry Valley group, and they ban you without even asking you why you did it. They're just like, oh, you're in an anti-Furry Valley group, bye, you're never coming back to us. Instead of, well, why are you there? What concerns do you have? Let's fix those. They just want to keep the problems there and never work on anything to make everything better.
And as I said, I was pretty much wrongfully banned. And now we're going to get onto Rapunzel's side.
Yeah, so basically my incident started during a Cards Against Humanity game where hosted by Furry Valley, which I enjoyed going to those. I originally started out not ever doing voice chat and whatnot, but through playing the Cards Against Humanity games, I got more comfortable, being around people online and chatting over voice chat, and so everything was going fine. I was in one game, the host had to leave, and there weren't enough people to continue the game to begin with. So we all, those of us who wanted to continue playing, migrated over to a game in which one of the server mods, who's named Munch, was hosting, and Simba was there, the server owner of Furry Valley. And so everything was going fine, and the incident all stemmed from a combination of cards that is kind of, in a way, poking fun at just how gay of a person Simba is. And I ended up getting slightly offended in a, joking way. Like, and so I got upset that at Simba. Simba then said something about, he was like, oh, you get easily offended. And everything was fine at that point until after I explained, no, I don't. I'm offended because I identify as a female. And Simba then, someone else said something, and Simba then said to that other person, oh, he thinks he identifies as a woman. Or more specifically, he said he thinks he is a woman. And I then called Simba out on that, and Simba then looked to me, or, said to me, that science says otherwise, and it got on my nerves. And so that led to a couple days later, I was having a conversation with someone, and while I was having that conversation with another member of Furry Valley, we eventually got onto discussing issues we have with the server. And at that point, I had just explained about me being misgendered by the server owner, Simba, and this other member of Furry Valley had explained about an incident where someone else had been banned for saying something, but was banned without evidence, without any context, or without being asked if they meant what they said, were they joking, or anything. They were just flat out banned. And I find out a few hours later, I've been banned from Furry Valley basically just because I was listening to someone talk about a banned member. And Malachi here asks me, to explain the incident of why, my association with the band member. Up until I didn't know the name that had been said in the conversation, which got me banned. So at that time, before I was banned, I didn't even know about them prior to the conversation. And I just heard about it there, and, it led to, the incident, me being banned. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's just ridiculous.
About the band member, and then
yeah, as you can see here,
way too much, just no reason.
I basically explained. I had explained that, I only knew about the person who got banned's name because someone else said it, but I didn't say the name in the conversation because I didn't hear what they said. Excuse me. I didn't hear what the individual who said the band member's name had originally said. So I didn't use the name. Pardon me. So I basically sat there, finished the conversation, and ended up going to bed, waking up later, and with the being banned, and now having Malachi asking me again, why do I know the person? What's my association with them? All that stuff. And then asking me, well, who said it? Well, I just, not knowing all the problems that Furry Valley had at this moment, I simply said who it was. And I said they were just explaining the incident, and I was just listening in, and that I kind of agreed that it was taken too harshly, and in the sense of, this seems to have been done harshly, as no evidence was collected, whatnot. I just thought it went kind of overboard. That the server owner Simba had gone overboard. Well, when Malachi asked me if anyone else was involved, there was someone else in that call. I was like, okay, at this point, I'm not going to say anything about anyone else. And so I basically said, no one else was involved. And then Malachi's like, okay, I'll talk to the other person who wanted, who brought up the band member, and then I was asked if I'd ever talked to that band member myself. I said no, I wasn't, and I still basically got treated like shit after that. Yeah. And as you can see here, Malachi was happy that I had never talked to the member, which I find to be okay. Either this member really did something very, very bad that every person in Furry Valley should be aware of, and yet isn't aware of because they won't tell you that someone was banned for this reason, and that because of this extremely legit reason, you should block them or whatever. They just say, no, doesn't matter why they were banned, you have to block them. But anyways, and then I asked, as you could see from the previous posts of what days these were on, the previous images, this was now over 24 hours later, or roughly 24 hours later. I asked if I had any way of getting back in this server at all. Then you can see that it was what is that, over 6 hours later, that I get a response. And in that 6 hours, I had found the anti-Furry Valley group on Telegram, and I was asking, I wanted to, ask a few questions, see what, their thoughts were, and see, is it, in their opinion, is the issues that I'm hearing about with Simba and with Furry Valley as bad as everyone says it is? And, just wanted to get more clarity and whatnot. But as you can see, 6 hours after I asked if there was any chance of me getting back in, Malachi comes back and literally, straight up, says, no, there's no chance because I am in the anti-Furry Valley group on Telegram. Well, I then said, only reason I'm against Furry Valley is because I was wrongfully banned under false accusations. And then I replied to that, I added, also, I don't like that you guys are stalking band members at all. I joined Furry Valley to make friends, and thanks to Furry Valley, I had found local fur groups. I was able to go to my first fur meet. I met people locally. I have a nightly, or a twice monthly gaming night that I go to. And without Furry Valley, I would not have actually, found friends locally in the furry community. Or at least it would have taken a lot longer before I did. I also said that your server and Telegram have helped me a lot. And have helped, have helped, but for absolutely no legit reason, hurt me and some of my friends. And then, shortly after that, Malachi had blocked me, and my next attempt to get back to him went unanswered. And it was pretty much at that point that I'm like, okay, I should not be there. Other people, I've even met people locally who know of Furry Valley and know all the shit that go on there, and asked me why did I even join that place to begin with. I had to explain I knew none of this, but thanks to them, I'm here talking to you. And so, there's people who live near me who freaking know about all the problems that are going on, and this is just freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, and pretty much are going against the terms of service, because they're basically straight up banning people for no legit reason. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't say that in the rules on the server either.
He was like,
and then
we monitor anti-furry. Malachi was then like, we follow anti-Furry Valley scum to make sure people are properly kept safe from the likes of you, basically calling me a scum now, all because I wanted to originally simply ask people what their thoughts were, and if I was offered a chance to rejoin Furry Valley, should I rejoin Furry Valley, and be a lot more skeptical of things, and then only, and try and make friends and talk to them off of the server and say, hey, this happened. Can you not talk about it in the server, please? Can you also, so that stuff doesn't happen to you, and then also, if I get banned again for any reason, not do what they want you to do and block me. And, trying to get back to friends who I can't communicate with now because we had not friended or talked outside the server. And so, anyways, so basically I was being called a scum and told to get out of here. And then I tried to reply stating that I did nothing wrong other than be in the wrong place at the wrong time and get pulled into something I didn't know about because you didn't tell us about them. Also, I'm not scum because you banned me wrongfully. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is wrong of them because they're basically saying because of their stalking people, they're pretty much saying if you're in anti-Furry Valley stuff, which ironically a lot of people agree with, partly because the staff do shit like this. And pretty much you question the staff and it just straight to ban you for
they offer
no legit reason.
There's really nice things that they do offer that seem on the surface like a really good thing. Like, get all the different events they offer for different popular games. The other thing, the streams, the podcasts, all that stuff. And it all seems really good and legit. But when you get down to it, they're doing this to make themselves look better than they actually are.
Yeah. And another thing they do, which is another reason I got annoyed at them, is you will talk in the general chat and pretty much 9 times out of 10 you'll just get completely blanked. Like you're not even there. Which is annoying because then it feels like you're not really part of a server. It just feels like you're just...
Yeah, and they even will do things like, when you're in a chat, which for me most of the time it was just the Cards Against Humanity, and so we're all having a good time, and so, some people will be talking over others, whatnot, but people won't be paying attention. I noticed that a lot of people won't be paying attention to when whoever turn it is to be the cards are in Cards Against Humanity, they would be trying to read the card, and someone would be talking over them, and some people would be like, I didn't hear that, and it would just be shitty. And a lot of times it was someone would be talking, and more often than not, it was either a mod or a mod or a full mod or full admin of the server, or someone who was in their trial period who was talking over the person who was reading. And more often than not, it seemed like, now that I know a lot of what's going on there with Furry Valley, it seemed like the people who were doing the talking over were talking over people who they kind of were not really liking. And, it's just an issue because for me, they would hardly ever talk over me. And then the next thing that would happen is, stuff would just everything would go good. I wouldn't get talked over, and everyone else would occasionally have that happen to them. The only times that would happen to me is when Simba was in the game with us, and Simba would just talk over everyone.
Yeah. And another thing that was kind of bullshit about it is I do have a habit sometimes of talking over people, but what's bullshit about it is if I talk out when I was in the server, if I talked over people, I would get in trouble. But if people talked over me, I wouldn't get in trouble.
Yeah. It's like
it's basically one-sided.
The person is well liked in the server, whether they're a admin or not, if they're well liked, then they're treated better. It's a huge thing that for them to do favoritism, because that can make newcomers to the group that no one in the group really knows. No one on the server really knows this new person. This new person wants to, become, someone who's well liked in the server, and make more friends and maybe learn about stuff going on in their area. Well, how can you get better and become more integrated into a server if you're not allowed to talk to anyone, if you're disrespected, and if people play favoritism for people who've been there for so long?
And then this is ironically a post that a friend sent me, and this was a post that they sent a few days after I was banned. And as a British person, this is quite offensive.
I'm from the US, and I'm one of those Americans who understands how well you should treat, the British royalty, even if you may dislike individual members of the royal family or the royal family in general. You still treat them respectfully because they are who they are. And personally, I find this offensive as well.
Yeah, I mean, I do find it a little bit ironic though. It was a couple of days after I was banned, which is basically like the person that runs the Furry Valley Twitter. It's like the person's basically going, haha, F you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it makes it look more like it's the entire country telling you, when that's not what's happening.
And another reason I can see why they posted it is because after all of that happened on Discord, they banned me on their Twitter. So I wouldn't be able to see this post.
I also got banned from the Twitter. I got banned. I did not get banned from the Telegram because they did not know my Telegram. Or at least the person who does the banning on Telegram didn't know my Telegram. And I had just simply tried to chat with a couple people when I realized I could still do that there. And literally within a few minutes of it, I'm banned there. And now, it appears, several people who I had communicated with at that moment also have been banned.
So, they're very one-sided when it comes to that stuff, and as I'll keep saying in the video, that they do stalk you, so if you're banned, then they'll pretty much ban you on every part of Furry Valley.
They basically ask for all your information when it comes to the different social media sites that Furry Valley uses, so that A, they can see that you are on Facebook, Twitter, Telegram, anything else that they may use, and they'll ask you to like them, follow them, do all this stuff, just so they can then find you and eventually stalk you if you do anything to betray you.
Yeah, like, because I'm anti-Furry Valley, one of my friends that haven't even heard of them earlier got banned pretty much just for no reason. Just because I tweet anti-Furry Valley stuff and they follow me, so they magically got banned. Yeah. So it's like he had nothing to do with Furry Valley in the first place. And the next one was another one of my friends sent me, and as you can see, this member is saying, and he randomly got invited to Furry Valley. If you don't know, these guys are basically grooming kids sending them nudes and need to be shut down.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like, I don't think I'm not sure exactly how I got invited over to Furry Valley, but I think it was someone who was in the same furry group as me and was seeing all the problems I was having there in that group, and the fact that group was heavily playing favoritism. And although there were people there who legit liked talking with me occasionally, you know, when we were both on, this other member ended up inviting me over to Furry Valley, saying, "Oh yeah, they're a lot nicer over there. Everything's calmer, things." And then even mentioned a few of the things like, "Yeah, they host weekly events and whatnot." And it seemed like, okay, I'll try them out. And it seemed like they were a lot less complicated to, you know, move around the server, find what you're looking for than where I had been. And so I just grew to like what Furry Valley was doing, not knowing every little thing I did was more and more information for them that they could take and use for whatever they're going to do when you decide to do something to wrong them.
It's the only server I know of that stalks people that much.
Yep.
And then another one that they sent, which luckily technically you can get away with it on YouTube on this one, maybe. I'll have to look into that, but as you can see, they pretty much uploaded straight up porn, which is wrong of them, seeing that most of the people who follow Furry Valley tend to be underage people. And if I remember on that post, it was fake news anyway, because knowing Disney, usually Disney tend to do children films, so
yeah,
it'd be very unlikely that would ever happen.
Even though Disney did buy out Fox, 20th Century Fox, they basically said to have Fox do all the anything, you know, that's overly too adult for to be done by Disney, and it's branded differently. It's not branded that it's even done by Disney, and that's why you'll see things like Deadpool. It's owned by Marvel Studios, but it's filmed by not Disney or Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's the same with Spider-Man, which I would still say Spider-Man is part of Marvel, even though Marvel fired him recently. Even though Spider-Man, I'd still say it's Marvel, because Spider-Man 1 and 2 is brilliant. And then here's another one. As you can see, Rapunzel saying about permaband, and then interestingly, the user underneath was talking about her brother Simba, which is the same Simba on Furry Valley, ironically, and saying that he was playing the pedo god every other day.
Yeah.
Whoever questions the allegations on him.
Yeah, and it's just... it's shitty.
Which, if it is actually Simba's sister or so, that might be an interesting video if I can somehow be able to get in touch with her.
Yes, that would.
That would be interesting. Because then, essentially, if I do that, Simba can't escape, because it'd be one of his family members explaining it as well. And it will make him look worse than people think he is. And then another one here, someone said that at least none of the admins and staff of Furry Valley is list duplicated on all social media that exist. Which they do. And then it says, my reason is to protect the youth of the fandom and block everyone associated with that crusty stain on society. Which I do agree with, because most Furry Valley people, not so much for people that join, that's in the community, but most of the staff tend to be bad people. Mostly specifically Malachi and Simba. And then the other staff basically follow them to a sheep.
Yeah.
When there's drama happening to back up people and that.
Yeah, it's like...
So it's pretty much like, if you remember those bullies at school that you ended up getting you in trouble, and then when you tell the head teacher and they go to head teacher, they always say that they didn't do it, and they basically lie to the teacher's face.
Yeah, I had
make you look even
too,
bad.
And it was like, the administrators at the school would be like, well, these people are some of the best students in the school. Why would you be accusing them of bullying you? And it's just, it's the same thing. It's like, Simba's like, oh, the admin team's so great. Why would you ever question what they do?
Yeah, and then another user underneath on a different tweet saying Furry Valley should fire their thieving artists, because another thing that they do is their artists that they tend to have basically steal people's art, which is frowned upon on pretty much everyone in the furry fandom. And they pretty much steal people's art, and so when I'm stealing art, they're doing pretty much the same thing that people on DeviantArt tend to do.
Yeah.
Which is steal people's art and then they're called out for it. That's pretty much the same principle. And that's the thing, is stealing people's art that they've probably spent hours working on, and they're not giving them any credit or any shout out whatsoever.
I feel like, it's like if someone puts a lot of work into their art, and they're making the art for Furry Valley as a server, Furry Valley's commissioning them to make more, whatever it may be, art for one of the little bot commands that you can use, or for different promotional stuff, or whatever it may be. For someone's been commissioned to make art for Furry Valley, and now that person's not getting that recognition, and people are maybe wrongfully taking that art and then redrawing it in their own way, again, for the server, to the point where certain things are like, okay, well, who's the original artist? And then they claim, oh, it's one of our artists that's on our team who had nothing to ever do with that piece of art.
Yeah, and I mean, the only thing that I would say is nice is for like fade colours that they have on the eyes and that, but
yeah,
it is stolen art. And knowing the staff, because they are stealing this art, they are probably stealing people's profile photos on Discord as their own photo. They're probably doing that as well if they're stealing art.
Yeah.
Which is even more worse. And then this one of Simba's family members again was saying about Simba might steal some more art and wipe away the artist who made it. Which, as you can see, one of the artists was saying that they put in over $1,000 in free art on a community and then pretty much have all the artists' watermarks removed. Which is wrong of them doing, because they're basically stealing art at that point.
Yeah, I think all the images they had for the bot commands, unless they were actually drawn by the person, by an artist on the admin team, they never had a watermark on. At least not that I ever noticed.
Yeah. But I do know watermarks, it can be easy to remove. So there's nothing saying that. Say if it was a JPEG, there's nothing saying that they could have basically cropped out the background.
There's that, and if
which would have removed the watermark.
If they can get in there close enough, they can remove the watermark if it's in the art itself.
Yeah, that's why when I do art, I deliberately fit the watermark into the outline of the art on the characters.
Yep.
Which means it's pretty much impossible to remove. Because if you remove it, then you're going to see the parts of the outline as being cropped out. And, and then it said, another one said, has done it again, so himself use an account of so-and-so name on Kiwi Farms. It's poorly threatened to release email information to me. I assume this is a dox. And then after that it cuts off. But yeah, that's another thing. The Simba's also been known to dox people.
Which that goes back to the thing. Yeah. That goes back to the thing where I was saying about how they want all your information, all your social media things, because they want you to follow them. Legit. I'd understand if a server is like, hey, we're on Facebook, come follow us. But they don't ask you to provide them with your Facebook, your Twitter, all this stuff, or harass you when you add your Facebook account to your Discord, yet for some stupid reason, Discord is having issues sending people to your Facebook page via your link that you provided. It just ends up becoming a situation where you just get spammed with messages from them asking you to remove it, fix it, do everything you can to get it to work. And when you can't get it to work, they just ask you, okay, we've asked you several times, just remove it.
Yeah. And then this one is kind of a wall of text. Let me make sure. This one's a wall of text, but it's explaining about Simba being a misogynist and pulling people again. Or in other words, he's basically being a pedo on people.
You know, so no one can try to hide who he is and not be able to be found out, and it's like, it's just ridiculous.
A bot and admins asking for content to be removed or be banned, which is kind of hard to the image, but again, it's basically forcing you to remove stuff. And ironically, these are the images, I believe.
And I think if I remember correctly in there, this was, you could see Simba directly says closed to PMs. And then you try to explain, and then this, I'm guessing now, obviously, former member of Furry Valley was trying to ask for their content to be removed because it was wrongfully being taken, and when and I think somewhere in one of the images shows where they were trying to communicate with one of the bots Furry Valley has and getting nowhere, and so they decided to go to Simba, and that's where all their problems occurred. And it just, I don't know, it's just, if they're gonna steal your content no matter what it is, then there should be a very easy way on how to fix that.
Pretty much just said she was banned.
She was banned for asking for her personal content that was being stolen because she was not asked for permission to repost it, and now she's banned.
Yeah, which... So pretty much,
yep.
If you accuse them, you get banned no matter what. Which is ironic because they want to grow it as a big community, and
yeah,
this constantly happens pretty much on a daily basis.
Yeah. I mean, I actually was planning on looking into the applications very recently when they just recently opened, just to see, you know, what's all needed for the applications. Because one of the admins actually thought I would be, you know, this one admin thought I had enough skills to do something on the admin team. I would have to try and apply for what I thought I could do, but he wouldn't tell me what he thought I would be good at doing. I think he did say, he may have said being a community manager or something, and I'm thinking to myself now, I was like, okay, I really wish I hadn't been banned the day I was banned, because that's the day the applications opened, and I could have gone back, taken and looked at the application prior to being banned, saved the application if I saw something wasn't right, and then gone from there. But I really wish they had allowed me back in rather than perma-banning me, so that I could have taken a look there and seen, oh yeah, they're asking admins to do all these things that are against terms of services, and then we could take that application elsewhere to deal with the problems we're seeing here.
Yeah, and then this one I will have to censor because there's a few not safe for work images. I'm assuming by the name of the title.
Yeah.
It's
nope.
They're not safe for work part. If it was scrolled further up, it would have probably said Simba, but it would have said something rude, knowing Simba busy.
Yeah, I've unfortunately posted.
It's been known for pedo stuff.
I think that exact chat, and I had no responses from Simba because Simba knows how I identify and is completely against it in every aspect of the sense. And I think at one point has even said, "Oh, you still have this. You identify as a woman, but you still have this." Or you identify as a woman, but you still have this stuff. So that doesn't mean, I forget exactly how he put it, but it was something. Just because you identify as a woman and still have this doesn't mean I'm ever gonna be into you. And it's like, just calling out all this stuff, basically being, a shitty person. And yeah, Simba would be on some of this stuff unless said individual is a female. and then he'll never touch you. He'll never say anything to you. Rarely ever actually comment back to you when you say something to him, and it's just all one-sided.
Yeah, pretty much Simba only likes men, and it's pretty much if it's anyone else that's either trans or a female.
And trans people,
he doesn't
he's
like you.
Science says otherwise, so you can't be what you say you are, and tries to pull the gatekeeping card, especially when it comes to, because I think at one point he said, "Oh, you still have your male parts down below. You can't be you actually then can't be woman," and it's like, what the hell? And we'd always joke about the fact that, and everyone understood the jokes about Simba being so gay that he can't stand women, to the point where we would actually joke about him being so not liking women. You show him a picture of a woman and he legitimately would get scared. That's how ridiculous he is. He's like one of those gay people that's like, oh, I can't even be around other people who aren't, males, all this stuff. And it's like, if you're anything else, I don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah, which is disrespectful and wrong.
Because Discord is international, it could potentially be breaking laws somewhere. And in a lot of states here in the US, it could be considered cyberbullying because it's including someone being directly transphobic to someone, such as when Simba directly misgendered me in front of another admin who would actually side with Simba no matter what, and about 7 other people.
And yeah, as you said,
yeah,
pretty much as soon as I was said, everyone left. And going back to with the Simba was liking me thing, that's pretty obvious because I am gay myself and a male. So of course he's going to prefer me over trans and women because it's what he likes.
Seems like not to, if you're over the age of 18, then being younger than Simba and Simba liking you, not a problem. But it just seems like Simba interacts with more individuals who are younger than him than is safe to say, than should ever be safe. Which basically means he's interacting with people in certain ways, he's interacting with minors in certain ways that are like, yeah, that's not safe. That's like, stay away from him. It's like if some of the youth that are in Furry Valley, if their parents knew what Simba was doing, they'd probably be trying to get the server, they'd be trying to contact Discord to get the server banned, or at least get Simba banned, which in turn would get the server closed. And, it's that bad.
After this, this is another one that's I'm gonna not say for work on. And you can see he was banned for he got banned by 3 mods who got back to me because wanting to have their stuff taken down for not because I know there's this I think it's in the next image, I want to say, where this person states that they show their it's like they were like, read my bio, and in their bio it states not to take their stuff without asking. So you can't share, retweet, or do anything with my stuff without asking for. And then pretty much the staff was like, if you keep talking about it, you're gonna get blocked. And what's bad about this is Ironically, this was happening. This one in particular, I believe, was happening around Confuzzled, so around May. It's lucky. Which, it's lucky that the staff at Confuzzled did not see what Simba was doing, or any of the staff of Furry Valley. As if they saw this, then they would have been pretty much banned from any con. Because I know they've been talking about having panels at furry conventions. So, if anyone watching this is a staff member, do not let them at the convention.
They decided. I forget exactly where they decided, but I believe they decided East Coast of the United States is where they are going to set up their own convention. And now it's like, okay, you're setting up your own convention more as a community meetup for members of Furry Valley, not as a necessarily full-on convention, but obviously they're going to open it to other people. And who's to say that at that convention it's not going they're going to be marketing towards minors, and that could lead to a lot of problems, especially if they follow the laws and minors under a certain age, which, if I remember correctly, in most anime, furry, Comic-Con style conventions and whatnot, if you're under the age of 16, you have to be accompanied by an adult. Therefore, if you have a parent outside of the fandom who is going to accompany you, a minor, under the age of 16, to these conventions, and you find that the Furry Valley meet, and you go to it, and your parents see all the shit that they're doing, now who's going to be in big trouble? Now there's going to be so many people who are legit, probably just innocent people who are, working at the convention because, Furry Valley was able to get, some vendors to come in, and now those vendors are in trouble for something they never knew was going on.
Yeah, and I think the lowest you have to be in the UK, I think it's the same in Europe, is 18.
In the US, you can be any age. Attending, if you're under a certain age, you have to have a parent, and then it depends on the individual convention. So it's like, I know for the local furry convention that's coming up, the two local furry conventions that are coming up here in the Western Washington area in the US, are all age, any age. You could be a parent who has kids, and you and your kids like to go out and do fursuiting and whatnot as a family. You make it a family thing. That's really cool. And you actually have kids as young as 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, whatnot, coming to these conventions with their parents as a family. That's not a problem, because usually most conventions are relatively well maintained to make sure mature stuff stays in one area or after a certain hour of the day, or that immature stuff is not allowed because it's designed for a younger audience. And so, the two coming up here are all age conventions. Just if you're under the age of 16, you have to be accompanied by someone over the age of 18.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
and this was what the other one said. They got banned before Rapunzel, and pretty much what Malachi is saying is total false.
Trying to accuse this particular user of doing everything that Furry Valley's doing. Saying Furry Valley's not doing this, you're doing this, and yet it's Furry Valley that's doing all the problem stuff.
So pretty much a plain victim card saying, I didn't do it, you did it. Which is bad enough of the staff doing that. And then this one's another one that a friend sent me that...
Yep.
This one's on Twitter. You can probably tell by the blue writing. But, one of them said that the mods are forced to fight against anything anti-Valley. And that's because Simba, pretty much, Amalachi, holds them hostage and pretty much forces them to ban you no matter what. If
the other thing was there, I saw somewhere, I don't know if you got this image, but someone had screenshotted from the staff application. I think this was the old version of it, so it may not be listed in there now, but they discuss it in staff meetings, which is that it states in there that if, as an admin, you will be required to watch out for any anti-Furry Valley stuff online. You see something, report it, and try to report it to Simba or one of the highest ranking admins, and go into wherever that was, wherever you saw that, and try to and just actively deny that that's not true. Act like you're just a regular member of Furry Valley and deny that that's even happening. So, yeah.
I mean, as you can see, there's some other stuff about helping out on the video, because it was about time to do a thing on Furry Valley, seeing that there's this much evidence on them, and no one's really doing anything. The only other person that I can say is exposed them this much is Dog Patch, and I will have Dog Patch's news article in the description as well, which I can say really is the only other person that's exposed them this much.
I had never even heard of Dog Patch, all that stuff. I didn't even know of Kiwi Farms before I started looking it up, and it's like one of the top search results on Google, so you can't avoid seeing it.
Yeah. Then this is my friend giving them a warning on the Valley, and pretty much they blocked him for no particular reason, only because I'm friends with him and because I'm blocked and do anti-Furry Valley stuff, because of how selfish and arsehole they are. They pretty much just blocked my friend for no reason. Which is wrong of him, because it's nothing to do with Furry Valley. And
as you can see, go ahead.
And then as the one underneath has said, he's been blocked for a while. He was a moderator, and it wasn't fun because the staff were overworked and treated like slaves. In other words, they was basically forced, pretty much at gunpoint, you could say, to no matter what, deny the claims on them.
And as you can see here, it's shit. And then it's people trying to, then there's one person trying to defend what's going on at Furry Valley, and it's just, the more and more people try to defend what's going on at Furry Valley, the more and more you realize how bad Furry Valley really is.
Yeah, and the problem with it is they're basically forced to be the good person, and
yeah,
isn't right. Like, you could say that's like, for example, if you're like, I don't know, an office worker, and you was basically forced to
pretty
sit
much
at that computer desk 24/7. And the same person said back, they're only saying it because it's your job to go against any and all things that go against it. And he is telling the truth, because a funny thing about Furry Valley is it used to be known as Furry Margarine, I think it's called. And before I joined, it was not long changed to Furry Valley. And they only done that so they can try and hide the past drama that they had. Which, the way they're going, either they're going to get shut down or they're going to have to change the name again.
And I would be surprised if they changed the name again, in the sense of created the new server, asked everyone on the current server to move over to the new server, then got rid of the old server, and now, all of a sudden, everyone who's been banned is allowed back in to try as a way to make up for, oh, sorry, we wrongfully banned you and Discord is making us do this. And yet, if you ask Discord, they're like, no, we didn't do anything. And it could be a very suspicious thing if they try to do that. Basically duplicate the server, rebrand it, and allow all banned members back in.
Yeah. And as my friend said, that the staff member blocked him, which he would do, because the staff, basically the staff try and defend the drama, and then they'll basically ban they'll basically block the people that are talking to him about it to try and make them look good.
And it's like, I can say that if you have become friends with, if you were in the Furry Valley and you became friends with some of the mods are required to go through and block you. I can tell you, if I looked right now, I probably still have every single mod that has ever sent me a message, except for Malachi, still listed as a friend on my, still fully listed as a friend on my Discord.
Yeah, I mean, most of them have blocked me, but what's funny is, I was still blocked. I called them out for it, and because I called them out, essentially I'm the bad guy, and most of the staff have blocked me for calling them out on their bullshit.
Yeah.
So pretty much if you call them out on it, they'll just block any communication.
Yeah. And I'm still pretty sure on Twitter, I'm probably friends with at least, or not blocked from at least 3 different mods who I have followed over there. I think it may be 4, but I know of 3.
And I
yeah,
think that might be all the images, I think. Yeah. Capture 37 and the 30th image, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, all I can say really is, if you see Furry Valley following you, or or if you're a minor, especially
if you're on Twitter and they start following you, since Twitter has the ability for anyone to follow anyone, and that could mean someone that has adult content on their server or on their Twitter, someone who follows adult content Twitter accounts could easily follow a minor with no easy way for that to be blocked. Although, so if you are a minor on Twitter and you see Furry Valley anywhere, even as a suggested place, suggested account to follow, just immediately block them before they have a chance to follow you. Because if they have a chance to follow you, they will now be able to get a hold of information on you in whatever ways they can, and it could probably be not a good thing for you. And if the people at Furry Valley who are doing that are lucky enough, it wouldn't be a good thing for your family. Yep.
Because
there's also one case where they were threatening someone, and saying, hey, if you don't block this one person in the next 5 minutes, we will block you, and then take all of the information we have on you, search the internet for more information on you, find out where you work, go to your boss, and actually get you fired for all the shit you do online. And if I remember correctly, that was Simba doing it. And not only was Simba doing it, he was constantly sending messages, counting down the time that the person had to do this. And the person was just commenting back, I've done nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. I've done nothing. Why are you attacking me like that? And that was getting them in more and more trouble with Simba.
Yeah, so pretty much they're avoid at all costs,
and,
pretty much.
You know, it's like several of us are now trying to figure out what to do because a bunch of us have been banned just for happening to know each other. We just know each other. We send one message to the other person and we're all of a sudden all banned. It's freaking ridiculous.
And pretty much they have a police record as well. Specifically Simba does. And as much as I'm tempted to put his police record in the description, the only reason I wouldn't is it also shows the address where it occurred.
Yeah,
that's the only leeway I would say, because as bad as it is, I wouldn't want.
Yeah, I mean, if you could screenshot aspects of that, and you know, like post that somewhere and then link to that post, that might be, you know, a safer alternative, because then you could block out what you don't, what shouldn't be shown. Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like if you see another thing is if you're looking for furry servers and you go to and you Google furry servers on Discord, and then you go to some of the stuff sites like Discord Me, and some of the others, if you ever see Furry Valley there, and there's an option to downvote them because they don't deserve to have any positive publicity at all.
And just to annoy them, seeing that they don't like Furry Nexus, I would recommend following
absolutely
Furry Nexus over
I'm
Furry
in
Valley.
Furry Nexus, and I can say, yes, they play favoritism, but that's only when you get into some of the more specific chats, such as the adult chats and some of the other stuff that you have to get verified for and everything. Once you're verified for everything and you're in there, you start noticing individuals playing favoritism, but you'll find people who will be overly happy to talk with you. It just might be people who aren't online at the right times to really chat with you for very long. So, but Nexus is a lot better. I mean, they don't necessarily host as many events throughout the week, but they are a lot better about it, and they actually give you warnings about things. Unlike Furry Valley. Furry Valley's just, you screw up once, you're out of here. Nexus, you screw up a few times per Discord terms of services and the extra terms of services for the server, you get warnings. After a certain number of warnings, now you're banned from the group. Absolutely.
Yeah, which is how
some servers may choose to give you more warnings than others, but there has to be a warning system prior to straight up banning. That is, unless you've done something absolutely worth banning as per terms of service. Yeah,
like
raiding a server,
like
posting stuff that is to the country you're posting in actually illegal, then there you go. It may be legal to and spamming that potentially illegal content, and it's just, yeah. If you break the terms of services for Discord, then you should be banned. If you break the extra terms of services for the server, it should be a warning.
Yeah, and that's the bad thing is, specifically Simba Malachi, for some reason
Absolutely.
they haven't got banned yet, surprisingly.
And Discord could probably see that people are being banned so frequently from that server that they must have a way to trigger if a server has more than a certain amount of followers, that's one of the popular servers, one of the very popular servers on Discord, and then two, that triggers a monitoring of said server for any potential, really bad issues that could harm any of the several thousand members of the server, to the point where Discord could say, okay, you're now shoved into this category with all these other servers that are doing really well, that says if you break any of these additional rules because of your high-end popularity, we'll just delete your server. Such as the idea of banning too many people in a row, or within a 24-hour period, or within a 7-day period, or whatever. You've banned more than a certain percentage of your entire server. Now we see it triggers us to monitor your server better, and hopefully Discord has something in place to protect minors, as it's so easy for minors to use Discord. And yeah,
Yeah, and speaking of Discord, there's one thing that I could say that Discord should do, and that's make it a bit more, like, allow you to have your birth date or so when it comes to the 18 plus chats. Because if you use Discord regularly, you know the 18 plus chats, pretty much all you have to do is just click on it saying confirm, and then you're allowed in. There's like no barrier.
And that with, is especially on servers where you don't have to verify yourself age-wise, such as take a picture of yourself, take a picture of your photo ID, where you almost every server I've seen that says to do that is you can, if you would like to. You don't have to, but we recommend it. We recommend this, but you don't have to. To black out everything on your ID except for your date of birth. We just need to see that it's actually on something that looks like a state or county, provincial, federal ID of some sort that shows your date of birth, your picture, and then has a picture of you also, so it's your picture, the picture on your ID with your date of birth showing, and then potentially a picture of you next to your ID. Well, a lot of servers do that. Some don't. The ones that don't usually are obviously meant, and you can tell just before you join the server that this is obviously 18 plus, and most of the time people, kids don't go there. But one of the servers I'm in, local to the state of Washington, has a straight up just, all you have to do is type in the verification the verification role code or command to get in the NSFW command. We don't even have an NSFW anywhere on our server, yet we have the role. Now, I'm thinking that's for in the future, but then again, or it's to gauge how many people would like an NSFW server. I don't know. All I know is you don't need to verify for that. And when in this server's case, it doesn't add anything, I don't see why that's a problem. Because there's more than just adult content that's not safe for work. There's other things that may be okay in some cases for mature minors to see, but it's technically something they shouldn't.
Yeah, like myself, I admin like about 5 or 6 servers on Discord, and I know a few of them are moderates, but for ones I admin that have 18 plus chats, I always ask the person who wants the role to basically show them their ID.
One of the two of the servers I'm in don't need that right now, but that could be also because since I'm an admin, I don't need to show that. I'm not sure on that one, but in general, every server I've joined that has an NSFW, which included the Furry Valley After Dark, and also includes the Furry Nexus's channel or server, Not Safe for Nexus. Both of those do require you to show your ID with the pictures so that they can let you in. Another thing that we did mention when we were saying to avoid Furry Valley whenever you see it is if you see anything Furry Valley AD, don't think that's them just doing ads. That's actually their 18 plus server, because I've seen people confuse that as, oh, Furry Valley's doing ad stuff now and whatever, and didn't realize that was their 18 plus server. Also, just don't, if you do join Furry Valley, don't try to avoid giving them any personal information ever. I advise you to not join Furry Valley. But if somehow you end up on Furry Valley, just don't do anything the mods ask you to do, other than obviously things that are with other than following all of the terms of services of Discord. Yeah, and just stay away from After Dark, because Furry Valley After Dark will lead you into seeing, you know, adult content, and you'll be like, oh, cool. I'd like to also contribute to these lists, these you know, the pics being posted, all this stuff. And that's where they'll potentially try to wrangle you into doing a lot more than you should.
Yeah.
There's not really, other than
on Furry Valley.
I personally don't regret joining there because it's led to a lot of positive things for me. In fact, I've gone to my first Furmy, which of all things was less than 2 miles away from where I live, and I wouldn't have known it was happening because I wouldn't have known where to look to find out about it. It's led me to making friends. It's led me to taking friends I've made elsewhere on Discord to local events. And it has led me to actually now being present right here in this conversation. I would never have done this conversation if I had never joined Furry Valley. So I do have to say Furry Valley has helped me a lot. But they can go do some very not so safe words to say on YouTube to themselves and just disappear.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will be posting this video on pretty much every social media I can, as well as Furry Beware, so that now get more traction, because Furry Beware is locally checked for basically
and
the furries who steal
I'll
art
be sharing
and all
it
that
as
kind
well.
of stuff.
And yeah, it'll be, you know, I'll do what I can to help share it as well.
Yeah, so pretty much, if you see Furry Valley
if you
anywhere,
come across this video and you're in Furry Valley, for the love of God, just up and leave. Don't block your friends like they would ask you to do. Just any friends you've made in there, don't block them. Just up and leave on your own accord. And I don't know if Discord has the ability for you to block a server from trying to, you know, contact you. But if there's any way to do that, I would leave Furry Valley, and then block Furry Valley. But don't block your friends you've made there, because that that would just be wrong to your friends that are still there.
Yeah. And I think I might end
we got
the
everything.
video now, I think. And so, this has been exposing Furry Valley. And if you want to talk any questions or so, or any experiences that you've had with Furry Valley, please do in the comments down below. And as well as that, if you come across a video, please make sure you share it around your social media and pretty much make sure it gets more looked at, because the more people who look at it, then the more
and at some point
it's gonna keep rolling.
And at some point it will get enough steam that somehow Furry Valley is gonna see it, and who knows what'll happen at that point. But just keep sharing it as much as you can. and ask your friends who you share it to then share it to their friends.
Yeah, and this has been exposing. Really hope you guys enjoyed. This is Peaches signing out.